I was talking with a Newday family this week, a couple, and the husband says to me, "Hey, when are we going to start talking about the Christmas offering?" And he was kind of doing this little dance like this, like he was all excited. Like, when are we going to start talking about the Christmas offering? And I said, why you look so excited about the Christmas offering? And he said, "Oh, it's just like every year our family has been doubling our gift because this has become the way that we celebrate Christmas." And if you're new to Newday, we get really excited about our Christmas offering. Yeah. So, see, 2,000 years ago, God became a human being in the most unusual way. And angels came and proclaimed in song to these shepherds, peace on earth, goodwill to men. And Christ's birth brought peace on earth and goodwill to men. Amazing things that Jesus brought. That night, that first Christmas changed the world forever. And we are recipients of that transformation, that freedom, that blessing, that goodness, that good news. And so we believe the way we celebrate this holiday can and should still change the world. The best way to celebrate this holiday is not to go into debt or to buy each other more and more gifts that we don't want or don't need, or certainly not to neglect the very one whose birthday that we're celebrating. But we believe that the best way to celebrate this holiday is to be about the things that Jesus came for in the very first place, to set the captives free, to bring good news to the poor, to release the chains of the captives, right? That's why he came. And so every year what we do is we spend a little bit less on one another. We still give gifts. We just spend less on one another so that we can give more to a Christmas offering. And we give lots of money. And then we have a blast during the months of January and February, giving it all away to worthy causes and worthy organizations in our community and around the world. So last year, for the very first time, we had a generous donor offer a matching donation of $40,000. Now, this wasn't, we're giving $40,000. It was a matching gift so that if we raised $20,000, we get $20,000, $30,000, we get $30,000. And that was a stretch goal because the average for our Christmas offering before last year was about $25,000. So we thought, wow, if we really stretch big, we could reach $40,000, right? And so you guys outdid yourselves, and we ended up giving $56,000 for the Christmas offering, which together with the $40,000 made $96,000, which we were able to give away to set captives free through organizations like IJM and care for refugees through organizations like World Relief and build houses for homeless people and serve people right here in our own community. Now this year, I'm excited to tell you that we again have a matching donation for our Christmas offering. I'm going to take this down now. Have you guys all texted my number yet? I hope that you have, right? So we have another matching gift. However, because you outdid yourself last year, this year, our matching donation will be for $50,000. Every dollar up to $50,000 will go twice as far. Do you think we could match $50,000? Do you think we could raise $100,000 to give away to some amazing causes, organizations in our community around the world that are doing things that just are so central to the heart of God? Let me just say, first of all, how to give. If you're here just today, you're never going to be back, let me tell you how to give. You could give a gift into our offering bag and just mark Christmas offering on a check. You can go to our website, click online giving. You'll find Christmas offering there. You could be here on Christmas Eve and just give. That offering will go to Christmas offering, but we'll make sure that your donation gets matched. But what are we giving the money to? Where is this going to go? Well, we're going to be talking about that, the different causes and organizations we'll be giving to in the coming weeks. But today, I'm just really excited to tell you that Newday has officially entered into a 3-year partnership with a great organization called World Relief. World Relief is an organization we've been giving to for the last several years. They're one of the oldest Christian humanitarian organizations in the world. They started just after World War II to care for the refugee crisis as a result of World War II. Their mission is to empower the local church to serve the most vulnerable. And in working with them the last couple of years, we've seen this is exactly what they do. They empower the local church to serve the most vulnerable. And they are going to be facilitating us to build a relationship with a small community of churches in northern Kenya called Turkana. Now, many of you know I was with World Relief about 6 weeks ago in Turkana, and I had my heart broken there in so many ways. The people of Turkana are primarily pastoralists, or these people who basically live off of their herds. They take their herds around, and maybe they have 100 cows or 200 goats, and they live off of their herds. They drink the milk, they eat the meat. Occasionally they'll sell an animal to be able to have money for school fees or other necessary items. And they live off of the land, they graze off the grass, they drink the water. But for the last several years, there's been a devastating drought in Turkana, and water is very hard to come by. Water is life there. Water is very difficult to come by. And I want to just show you a video of what's happening there in that community. And I want you to know, these are people in this video. This is all filmed in Turkana, the community where we're going to be building relationship. But these are the very people that we are building relationship with, that in the next 12 months, some people from this video will be here in our church to learn from us. And then the next 12 months, some of you are going to go to this place and you're going to meet these very people. So let's just have a quick introduction.
Africa is currently facing the worst food crisis since 1945. According to the UN, more than 20 million people in sub-Saharan Africa are facing starvation. Climate change, population growth, and regional conflict have created a severe food shortage across Africa and the Middle East. Hardworking moms and dads are struggling just to put food on the table. Malnutrition is becoming so bad that children have actually stopped growing. These children and their families need immediate provision of food and water, as well as long-term solutions that address the underlying issues. But here's the good news. World Relief is already on the ground, partnered with local churches to provide solutions to this crisis. In some of the most remote regions, we're the only organization providing help. In a remote and rugged region of Turkana, Kenya, where World Relief works, a massive drought and dwindling food supplies have left 50% of all people severely malnourished and in need of immediate food aid just to stay alive. Since 2010, we've been partnering with churches in Turkana to develop culturally sensitive programs, including church planting, to help pave the way for a more sustainable lifestyle for these remote people. But lack of substantial rainfall over the past 2 years now threatens the progress we've made. In much of sub-Saharan Africa, the local church sits at the center of communities, providing leadership not just in spiritual matters, but in all areas of life. Which means World Relief's network of local churches across Africa is perfectly poised to meet immediate needs and provide long-term solutions. Our first goal is to raise $2.1 million, about $342 per family, in the next 90 days. Through our partnership with local churches, these funds will enable us to provide relief to those in immediate, life-threatening need and help bring lasting change to every region we work through our church empowerment zones. The people of Africa need our help today. They need our partnership tomorrow. Will you join us?
So our first $50,000 of our Christmas offering is going to Turkana, Kenya, to provide a deep water well, which will form a brand new community. Because when there's a new water spot, people flock there, and about 100 to 120 families will congregate and build their homes around this water spot. And their World Relief will be there through the local churches to provide agricultural training, farming, training on lifestyle and health, and also they'll be planting a church right there in the middle of that community. We'll be talking more about what we're going to be doing in the coming weeks, but let me just say that we're entering into a relationship, and to start a relationship, there's usually some give and there's some take, and we get to know one another. Maybe we go out for coffee with one another. We try to get to know one another. And I had an experience while I was in Turkana that I already shared. I'm going to share it again because I think it's so powerful. But I was preaching in one of the largest churches there. There's about 80 people present, very, very poor pastoralists, all living on about 60 cents a day. And after I was done preaching and the service was winding up, the pastor got up to the very front, a pastor who you'll see here in just a moment. And he said, we want to bless our guests. Our guests have come and blessed us. We want to bless our guests. And the church that he comes from, this Newday church that has sent their pastor. and we want to bless them. So bring your offerings forward so that we could bless them. And of course, I felt very, very uncomfortable with this. But people began to come forward and bring their offerings and put money in the pastor's hand. And at the end, he brings this wad of money and he puts it in my hands. And they forced me to take it. I didn't want to take it. But they said, you can't give it back. It would be offensive if you give it back. They want to bless you and they want to bless your church. And so in the end, it was $27 that this offering had given. And just think about this. There were about 80 people, half of them children, all of them living on 60 cents a day. How sacrificial is that offering? That's like the widow's mite. They were giving everything that they had to bless this church that they didn't even really know, just this pastor that had been sent to come in and meet them. And we said, what can we do with this $27 to bless the people of Newday? And so what we did was we looked at one of the two best exports of Kenya are Kenyan coffee and Kenyan tea. And so we took the $27 and we bought Kenyan coffee and Kenyan tea. And today as you leave here, we're going to have coffee and tea stations set up because the people in Turkana, this small church of poor people, want to buy you a cup of coffee. They're saying, we want to have a relationship with you. And so as you leave today, take a cup of coffee, make a cup of tea, or you could take it home with you. You could take a tea bag home with you, a little baggie of coffee if you like. But as you drink that coffee, as you enjoy it, sip that tea. Think about relationship. And think about blessing. And think about the people in Turkana who have given so deeply to just enter into a relationship with us through a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And think about how we can, in turn, be generous back toward them through our Christmas offering this year.